And welcome back in SportsPub podcast. I'm your host, Travis Fulton. Thank you for making us part of your day. Special podcast here with one of my good friends and former students. Years ago, we used to work together back when he got into the Champions Tour, 8-time winner on the PGA Tour, 9-time winner on PGA Tour Champions. Joins me now, Fred Funk. How you doing, Fred?
Hey, good, Travis. How you doing, buddy?
How's Texas? I know you're new Texans out there in Austin. How's it going?
Well, I'll tell you how it started. We we got here the day before the ice storm.
Ooh.
So we leave Florida after 30 years of being in Ponte Vedra, and we move in here. And literally 8 hours later, we had an ice storm. The next day, we had 7 inches of snow. And I'm like, really? We left Florida for this, but it was such an anomaly because Texas doesn't get that kind of, or Austin doesn't get that kind of weather ever. And it was brutal. I mean, we were totally locked down for 4 to 5 days. We had just a sheet of ice on the roads, and nobody could go anywhere, and nobody could get to you. You couldn't get to them. And it was pretty brutal, and it was cold. We got down to 1 degree one night.
Wow.
So that's unheard of here. But definitely the weather's different here than Ponte Vedra. We get winters in Ponte Vedra, but we get more diverse weather here. I'd say it's definitely colder this time of year, but and hotter in the summer. I think it's, it gets a hotter heat, but less humidity. It's a lot drier here.
Yeah.
But I do like it. So far, I've liked it a lot. I've taken Sharon home a little bit. She was raised in Houston and lived here in Austin. And I think that was her peeking in behind me there.
Hey, Sharon.
And that's Travis Fulton.
Oh, hey, Travis.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Cold. It's like feels like 37 today.
It's 81 here in Ponte Vedra today, and it's supposed to be a high of 72 and dry, which is
nice.
Unheard of.
That's nice.
But we miss you here in Ponte Vedra, and I'm going to get some really good stories out of Fred here.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast, so we're just.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You're on live.
You don't need my input. Have
good
fun.
to see you.
All right, bye.
Hey, let me ask you, Stuart Sink, 47. I mean, how about that? This guy, it's pretty
amazing.
cool. I mean, it's a young man's game, right? All this distance, and here's Stuart busting it over 300. Great iron play. His putting was incredible, and just puts it to the young guys. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that and having the sun on the bag and winning twice and 3 times at the Hilton Head. Stewie's a really good friend of everybody, not just me. He's I didn't mean to imply me. I just meant he's just such a great guy. Everybody loves Stuart and his family. They've been through a lot. His wife battled a huge battle with cancer, and she's doing really well now. And saw her on the sidelines, tears rolling down underneath her sunglasses, and very emotional for the family, and in such a great way. And I think it's fantastic what Stuart's doing. The fact that he's hitting it so far, he's hitting it longer now than he did. He was never short. He's a big man. He's 6'4". He's your size. How tall are you?
6'4".
Yeah, so he's about 6'3" to 4, and he can get on it. And he's always had the one swing that's never really changed. And I think he just, if there's a guy that is a great example of owning his golf swing, it's him.
Yep.
And I think it's fantastic what he's doing. And I think he's going to win some more. He's in a frame of mind too, mentally, that he's just so at ease. It's just like he's working with Jim Murphy, who I've worked with before, that's got him in a really good place mentally, that it's hard to not be about results, because that's where I have a problem with it, because golf is all about what you shoot. Yeah. And it's basically his results. But if you can get past that and just go out there and play, and that's what he's doing. He doesn't really have anything to prove. He's enjoying this transition time, I think, as he's going to roll over into the Champions Tour and having his sons on the bag.
Yeah.
Really
cool.
He's
definitely he definitely just looks at peace, and
that's the best word for it.
Out on PGA Tour. I mean, if your iron game is great, which it has been, I mean, he's positive strokes gained 2, 3, 4 every single week, and you're positive 3 or 4 in putting, you got a chance. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. And his distance, I think he's probably driving the ball as well as he has in quite some time. So yeah, maybe his son on the bag, he's a little bit out of piece. Something about that. Taylor caddied for you for a couple wins on PGA Tour Champions, I recall. So a thing or two about that. So SportsPub, let's turn it into SportsPub we're about kind of golf gambling here with this podcast, and of course it's really blown up in this game. You see now people betting on not only fantasy golf but head-to-head matchups, top 20s, win tickets, you name it. That's what's happened. We have a show called Cash Out with the Coaches. We give our picks every single week. All the time that we work together, I don't think I asked you weren't that big of a gambler out there on tour. I mean, you guys would do some side games here and there, like with your good buddy Chris DiMarco, but anything extravagant from that standpoint?
No, not at all. And I think it's really neat that they've opened up the gambling where you can pick guys head-to-heads and things like that on the Vegas line, from what I believe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's out there, and it makes it just another way to really get involved with the game and keep you updated with all the players. And I think it's good for the players. It's good for the tour. It's good for, the guys in that sports world that add golf to that gambling aspect of it, because it is very intriguing. The head-to-head matchups that they do week in, week out. You just never know in golf. There's so many intangibles that go with it, just like any other sport. But I think even more so in golf, because it's amazing in the gambling world how close, when they do the point spreads for the NFL and they throw everything into a computer and it spits out the dynamics of how the game's supposed to play out and how accurate they are all the time. And it's in all sports except for golf. I don't think they can throw all that stuff in a computer, and the computer would just upchuck. It would just like, I don't know who's going to win this thing, even though they do have the odds based on what you're trending like, but and the horses for courses and things like that. But I think it's really a cool thing to have out there.
Yeah, it is. It's taken off. They're pretty darn good at it too, as far as how they are looking at the different types of courses. That's the fascinating thing. We've always known that, but as I've gotten deeper into it and looking at it, man, you can really see the subtleties and the differences in the courses from week to week. What courses are good courses to look at when you're trying to handicap a player on another course. Are there courses that you would go look at this tournament? Yeah, he played well here, so this would be a kind of course that he would play well at. You see guys play well at Pete Dye Designs, which a thing or two about. You've always played pretty good out of.
I like Pete Dye's.
Pete Dye Design, sure. Including this week, by the way, TPC Louisiana. You've played well there late in your career, which is a big course, but I remember we were working together. I think you were in the top 10 the last time you played there at Zurich when it was a stroke play. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I didn't play that course that well at the new one. I did an English Turn at the old one. I played it.
So it was the English Turn. Okay.
English Turn is where I played really well. I finished second there one year, and woulda, coulda, shoulda won that one when I think Chris Couch won that one. But what's funny, Travis, is that I went to the match play the first round. I watched Sergio and Westwood. Both of them coming in off. Westwood was playing phenomenal, and Sergio's been playing really well as well. And I put Sergio. I wanted to watch him because I think he's the top 3 drivers I've ever witnessed on tour. You got Greg Norman, David Duval, and Sergio. I think for strokes or for length and accuracy, those 3 guys were amazing. They all 3 had different ball flights. Norman up in the stratosphere, and then David was kind of in the middle, and Sergio was a lot lower than that, but yet they drove the ball with incredible ease and everything. But they get talking about Westwood. He loses that first match. Sergio put on a clinic that whole afternoon. He threw 7 birdies in the first 14 holes at him, and didn't miss a shot hardly. But then they're saying Westwood is at a disadvantage because he's not long enough, or he doesn't have the power game. And I just went, wait a minute, he's got 173 ball speed. That's plenty long enough to be a winner on any golf course they play. When you're flying at 290 yards, it's plenty far.
Yeah.
Now, you're not DeChambeau, who separated himself from everybody with length. But Dustin and those guys that hit it, the 170, and Justin Thomas, the 178 to 182 that's the Mac Daddies. You get to that. Those are the Mac Daddies.
Yeah.
But I think, to me, I have an opinion that the best, I think that, or what am I trying to say? The length that would be advantageous for any golf course would be, and where you can take advantage of any golf course and you're not giving up anything to most of the field, is about that 170 to 72 or 3 ball speed, because you're not working it with quite as much dispersion, because the further it goes and a little more offline, the further it goes into the trouble. So you still have the power, you still have the length to do what you need to do. But they characterize it as if he doesn't have a chance because he's short. Well, he's not short. Stuart Sink, I don't know what his ball speed is, but I'm sure it's about 172, 73.
I saw a picture. It was 175.
Okay, well, that's unbelievable, actually.
Yeah.
But and that's a lot of ball speed. People think that's, you need to have 180 now or more. DeChambeau's thrown that, the fact that he won it at Wingfoot was amazing. I think what he did on that golf course with all the rough and everything, but he just did prove with a golf course that they took a lot of trees out of. They eliminated a lot of trees. So he got it. He had avenues to come out. He had corridors that he could get to the green from the rough, where back in the old days, you hit it in the trees with that rough. You didn't have anything. You're just chipping out. So it was amazing what DeChambeau did there, but I still think that 173 is plenty long enough.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're gonna at 173. All right, if you're playing with Bryson and DJ, and they're piercing the driver and they're hitting fairways and the iron, I mean, okay, now you're probably at a disadvantage because they're just, like you said, they are the Mac Daddy. But week in and week out, you can compete at 173, no question about it. I 175, Stuart Sink. He's 306, Fred, right now, off the tee. I mean, that's well above tour average. That's impressive stuff at 47 years of age. I want to take you back to a Pete Dye design, TPC Sawgrass. Well, you played there for many, many years. You won it 2005, age of 48, oldest to do it. You told me a story years ago about the first round, though, and you didn't have golf balls and you had to get a sleeve of balls. This is a PGA Tour tournament, the 5th major. How did this go down with golf balls into the players?
Well, I was playing a gambling match I always played practice rounds at least one day a week with Chris DiMarco. And we would play for $25 or $50 Nassaus and things like that. It would add up. And he was beating my butt a lot of those weeks. But that particular day was on the Wednesday before the tournament. I had the Titleist X ball, and it was about the 3rd hole. He goes, "What are you doing with that ball?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You can't hit that ball." I said, "I've been hitting it all year long." He goes, "You can't hit it. You don't hit it hard enough for that ball. You need to use my ball. Use my ball." So he had the next one down, the non-X. And I just went, okay, I'll try it. So I ended up beating him. I played really good. I shot really low that day. And for me, something like 66 or something. And I went into we got off the golf course pretty late. And all the tour reps have left. So all my golf balls that were already left in my locker were the X balls. So I went to the pro shop and I said, "Hey, can I exchange these for the regular Titleist?" I said, "Yeah, but it has the TPC logo on it." I said, "I don't care. I don't need to mark my ball. That's fine." So I played with the TPC logo ball all week. And I shot 65 the first round, which was a nice start. And the other irony to that night, I went in my garage and I switched irons. I went to an old set of irons that I had that I benched about 2 years before, and I just was walking by, I looked at them. I went, I like these. And I just played really good that night or that day.
Yeah.
And I switched irons. I had a new golf ball and went out and won the Players.
Gosh.
It's crazy.
Now, knowing you, that's not the first time something like that's ever happened. I can recall when you won, let's see, it was back in 2012. I think you won the Insperity.
Yep.
And the next week, I remember I was sitting in my bedroom and I was watching Golf Channel, and they were talking about you. I think it was like on a Tuesday the next week. And they said, yeah, Fred's got a new set of irons in the bag after winning the Insperity. I turned around and looked at the team. I'm like, what? Like, why would you put a new set of irons in the bag after you just beat Tom Lehman at the Insperity coming down the stretch? You remember that big shot you hit on the 72nd hole over the water to
yeah. Well,
to like 5 feet?
Hole.
And Taylor was on the bag, I think.
That was the only one I had with him on the bag, and it was a goal of mine to have him. He caddied for me for a couple of years there when he got out of college or out of high school, before college. And I wanted to win with him on the bag. So that meant a lot, but yeah, I hit a hell of a shot to it. All but a gimme on the last hole on that right pin over the water. And although Lehman hit it to about 6 feet and he hit a putt that I don't know how it didn't go in. But yeah, to win, and I don't even remember what irons I went from and what I changed to.
Oh yeah, you changed the whole set the next week.
Well,
you actually won twice that way. You won Hickory in October later on, and then you darn near won the Schwab down the stretch in Phoenix. Remember that? That was I think you finished second or third.
Second or third. I had it's been a while since I played good, since I've been hurt. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's funny. It's that tinkering, right? With equipment with you guys it's so easy. It's like on the outside as a coach, you kind of get frustrated, but then the players, it's like, maybe, like there's maybe that little spark or advantage. And I was talking with Alan Terra, who coaches with Dustin Johnson, and Dustin Johnson will pull a putter like that. I mean, there's nothing holding him back. I mean, he's like, yeah, give me that one, and that
I've used 4 putters in 4 rounds.
That's great. 4 putters in 4 rounds. So Alan's telling me the story a couple weeks ago. He says he walks out there and Dustin's got his second putter in the bag. And he's looking at it and he's like, what's that? And he goes, I'm just putting him in there just so he lets the other one know that there's other options out there. Oh man, that's good stuff. Talk to me about Tiger's healing up, right? That was a scary moment there with his wreck, but he's back in Florida now, and man, everything seems pretty optimistic and positive. Like he's healing up pretty darn good. Not surprising. It's Tiger Woods. There's no question we'll see him back out there again, with his work ethic and ability to work through things. But you've played with Tiger a few times. The skins game comes to mind. Something about, wearing a skirt with Annika. Tell me about Tiger, your interactions with him and what that's all about.
Tiger's awesome. He's one of those guys, the more crap you give him, the more he loves you and the more he dishes it back. So he loves to give you the needle. And if you get back to him, if you respond to him kind of meekly, he doesn't say anything else. But you fire back at him and he's all in. It's game on, and it makes it really fun. But I had the opportunity to be paired with Tiger in the second to last group when Rich Beam won at Hazeltine at the PGA. And one thing was pretty funny. One aspect of that week was the crowd adopted me. I was reacting to the crowd, and they kind of were all on, pulling for me all week long. And then I get in position, and I'm paired with Tiger, and we're walking from 10 green to 11 tee, which was about maybe 100-yard walk. And the crowd was going crazy. I was still in contention, and they were rooting for me more than Tiger, and I noticed it, but I didn't think Tiger did. But we get to 11th tee, and He goes, man, that's weird. I go, why is that, Tiger? He goes, they're rooting for you more than me. I said, get used to it, pal. And so then that was really funny. And then what was interesting with that inside the rope move, we were playing number 12, and Rich behind us, we hear this huge roar. And we heard that and saw that Rich made eagle. He reached number 11 and 2, which was surprising in itself. We knew Rich had an extra gear, but that was one of the true 3-shot holes, except for the longest guys. And he makes eagle, and I don't know whether he took like a 1-shot lead or maybe tied with Tiger, but those two were basically mano a mano. Mm-hmm. And Tiger 3-putted 13, and 14 was that reachable par 4, and he made bogey there, and he is livid. And he gets on 15, and he does one of those just swinging out of his shoes, out of balance, and pull hooks it left of the fairway bunkers on this par 5. And at this point, he's 1 or 2 shots back. I would have to go through the record books to see exactly. But I'm walking off the tee with my caddy, Mark, and all of a sudden Tiger, well, he used a lot of expletives, but he just goes, I'm going to birdie these last 4 holes, and we're going to win this thing. And he's saying that to Steve, his caddy, and I'm going, man, did you hear that? And he goes, my caddy goes, yeah. I said, where the hell? I mean, where did that come from? Well, sure enough, he birdies the last 4 holes. And Rich on 16, which is that really tight hole with water hazard left, little creek left, and water right. And basically, it's a really, really gut-wrenching tee shot. And he ended up making birdie, and I gave him a little cushion. He rode that cushion in, and he wins the tournament. So we're at the scores, just came out of signing our cars, so we're watching him from the scores trailer on 18, and he does his little jiggle, Richie does. And Tiger goes, hey, how about that? Rich Beam 1, Phil Mickelson 0. And I went, you really don't like that guy, do you? So that was pretty funny. But the skins match was a whole different story. That was a bad bet, but turned out really good.
Yeah.
Bet Annika, whether she'd drive me, she'd be offended if I put a skirt on. And sure enough, it was debatable, but we gave it to her on number 3, and Tiger won that hole. And he delivered the line with the 2 balls out and everything. It was just a phenomenal day. Mm-hmm. But then I ended up winning the last 15 and got 900,000. So I had the last laugh on that one.
Yeah, you did.
Although I went next year as a defending, and I got 0 when Stephen Ames.
I remember. I was just gonna say you got the last laugh there that year for sure, with winning the skins. All right, little rapid fire here. You're the straightest driver. Certainly you, and we'd have to throw Calvin Pete in there, who of course you knew really well. So did I here in Ponte Vedra. Give me a close second that you played with that you felt like was, man, this guy's about as straight as I am every time out here.
I thought one of the best drivers, he was never known for the length, was Joe Durant.
Okay. So
Joe was laser straight, still is. Obviously, Doug Toole was, and Hale Irwin was. Back in those days, we all kind of battled. We were always the top 4 guys when we were all on the tour at the same time. But I think Joe Durant was a better driver than me. He was, back when I hit it a decent distance. I was never long, obviously, but he was 10 to 15 yards longer than me, and at least as straight. It was really good. So I put Joe Durant as the guy.
Okay. A lot of people don't know you were a good boxer when you were younger too. And was there ever a time you wanted to kind of box a face or two in out there on the tour once in a while?
Well, I did have a really bad moment with Weeby. That's a whole long story that was something where I should have gotten thrown off the tour for a little while and fined heavily. But I think all the officials agreed with my viewpoint, and they just kind of let it go.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that.
But I did grow up in PG County, right outside DC in Maryland, and it's a border county that was it was a rough county, the southern part of PG County. So all the boys clubs down there had boxing teams, and I joined a boxing team when I was 8, and it was called the Junior Golden Gloves. And Sugar Ray Leonard grew up in PG County.
Wow.
And he was my age, and we were pretty much the same size. I wish to this day that I actually did fight him to say I got my rear end kicked by Sugar Ray, but I always missed him I was either a little bit heavier or a little bit lighter. And I kind of purposely stayed, or my coaches purposely were ducking him all the time. We said we didn't want to put you in the ring with him. And he was special. I mean, when he got in the ring, it was a guy that you said, oh my, this guy he had ring presence. He was comfortable. He knew how to fight right out of the beginning. He was class, and his hand speed was a joke. And that was the difference, especially in the lightweight division. Well, actually, all the divisions, the hand speeds of these guys are incredible. And I did that till age 16, where age 17, it went to just weight instead of age and weight. And I said, I'm out. I didn't want to do that anymore. Although I did become a punching bag in 1976. We had a guy named Terry Butner trying for the Olympic team. And I became one of his sparring partners for about 2 months. And that was kind of a mistake, because that was another guy that was really, really fast.
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense to me. Want to be a sparring partner for a top boxer. Like, you got to go in there and let this guy just pummel me a little bit. I mean, come on.
Pretty much.
I mean, you got your things, but still, he's, there's going to be a few that you're going to get it a couple times, right? You're going to get it in the ribs. You're going to get it in the neck, whatever.
Well, I remember the first time I got in the ring with him, and I hadn't fought in about 4 years. And and I get in the ring, and we had 16-ounce gloves. You have the headgear. That doesn't matter. But headgear really just protects your forehead from headbutts and protects your ears from the cauliflower ears. But we had 16-ounce gloves, and I'm thinking I'm going to throw a punch. So I'm getting ready to throw, and all of a sudden my head just goes. And I went, hold on, time out. I said, Terry, man, you got to ease up on me a little bit. He threw 3 punches I never saw. I never saw him. And then eventually, it's like getting used to, hitting a baseball or somebody hitting a tennis ball to you that's a pro. You got to get used to that speed. Eventually, I got used to his speed. I was still getting hit, but at least I saw him coming.
Yeah. That's scary. You don't even see him coming, and you're like, wait a minute, did I just get hit 3 times?
Well, that's why I don't really have that great a mind. I think that.
All right, I got to ask you. Before we finish up here with the podcast, I need to ask you about a guy that you've played a lot of golf with, and just a character, someone who I enjoy playing. And when I was with you, I was out there a couple times with you. I think I caddied with you once at the father-son, and you played with Bernhard Langer, and he's just like one of the most fascinating guys to me. Just how great he is at golf. I mean, it's amazing, like how good he was. People don't realize, he was great when he was younger. And of course he went through the putting issues, but he was wonderful Ryder Cup player. You almost think, gosh, if he didn't go through those putting woes, Fred, what kind of outcome and record would that guy have had? But he worked through that. Then he goes to PGA Tour Champions, and he's just like, geez, guy is a machine out there. When he plays on the regular tour, he makes the cut at the Masters all the time, and he's, second page in the leaderboard. It's really incredible stuff. But he's quite the character too. You told me a story just about the discipline and the what's the word? Just the preparation. It's not just the golf course, Mike. It goes through life with him, right? I mean, he is the most detailed, prepared ever. And you guys were playing one time, the fire alarm went off. I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, we're in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we're playing the tournament there, and we're all staying at the Beau Rivage, and or a lot of the guys are, and we're up on the 25th, 26th, 8th floors up there. We're at the top in the suites, and we get this fire alarm about 3 a.m, and everybody's disregarding. I go out in the hall, nobody's in the hall, and then this thing finally keeps going off, and then we hear the fire trucks, and then they come in with an announcement, and they say, you got to get out. So can't use the elevators, got to use the stairs. So everybody, I'm going down the steps, 20-some floors down. I get to like the 4th or 5th level down, and as I turn the corner, I can see Bernhard. Well, everybody's in their pajamas. They all look like they just woke up, and they this, they're in whatever they're in, gym shorts, whatever they're in. Bernhard is impeccable. He has perfect hair. It's like he just got out of the shower and blown dry it, whatever, with a blow dryer. And he had the button-down shirt with the sweater tied around his shoulders and perfectly pressed jeans, loafers, and a briefcase. And as I turned the corner when I saw him, I go, really? And he heard my voice and he goes, what now? And I go, Bernhard, what are you going for, best dressed in a fire alarm? What's the deal? He goes, what do you mean? I says, you look perfect. I said, everybody, look at everybody. You look like you're ready to go out to dinner. What's the deal with the briefcase? It is my life. I go nowhere without my briefcase. I have my life in here. I said, okay, I understand. So, I mean, it's unbelievable. He had to sit there in the room and just go, I am not going down there looking like crap. I'm going to be prepared. I understand the briefcase after the fact. But one real quick story with him, and in addition, we were playing San Antonio when we used to have that senior event out at TPC. Yeah. And David Frost and Bernhard and I are in the final group. And we walk up the 6th hole, par 5. We hit our drives. And I turn around. I see Bernhard. He's about 10 feet from me. And I go, hey, Bernie, I know what you're thinking. And he didn't respond. And I go, hey, Bernie, did you hear me? I know what you're thinking. He goes, what am I thinking? I says, you're thinking you have no chance of winning. I will beat you with my mind, my ball striking, my putting. You had no chance. And he just is shaking his head. And I go, I'm right, aren't I? And he goes, yes. But he's amazing. He has every aspect of his game is not this unbelievable that you're looking at him going, wow, that's unbelievable. It's just that he does everything good.
Yeah. Yeah, and he does.
His mind is incredibly strong. He's very prepared. I think a couple years ago, he was leading greens and reg and putting.
Wow.
In my mind, that's game, set, match.
Wow.
You're playing for second at that point.
Yeah.
So
I think one time we were out there, he walked up to the par 5 and the tees were like 3 paces up from the back, and he paced it off from the tee to the back. And it was like, and I remember looking like, what are you doing?
You got time for that story?
Huh?
You got time for that story?
Yeah,
this was on the regular tour, and I don't know Bernhard that well yet, and we're playing San Diego. And we played the North Course first. Now we're on the South, and on Friday's round. And he's been walking from the back of the tee. He goes up to the marker, and whatever the yardage he got in his book, and it's relevant on almost every hole because there's a lake or there's bunkers or trees or whatever he's trying to figure out. But we're on the 9th hole. The 9th hole at San Diego South is 610-yard par 5, dead straight, no fairway bunkers. There's no difference or ribbon or undulation or anything, and it's just a perfect straight line on both sides for 600 yards until you get to the green side bunkers in the green. And he walks 8 paces. He's looking in his book. I go up to him. I says, what are you doing? He goes, what do you mean? I go, Bernhard, if there's ever a hole, you just hit it. It's this one. It's nothing. You just hit it. And he goes, it's what I do. I went, okay, all right, no problem. So he hit. I can't remember the third. He hit, or the other playing partner, and he hit. And then I'm getting ready to hit. And before I have my routine, I have it teed up. I walk behind, and then I walk back into the ball. Well, before I walked back into the ball, I walked over to Bernhard. I went, I just want to tell you, Bernhard, you're 8 yards closer to nothing. Okay. and then I hit. So it was hilarious. So there's a bunch of little Bernie stories, but he's one of my best friends. I love Bernhard. He's amazing.
He's great. Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, Fred, I appreciate it for coming on and sharing some stories. I know you started the podcast too, right? Tell us about it with the Terps back where you went to college.
Yeah, Chick Hernandez, who's worked for ESPN and different other announcing. He's been in the media for a long time and covering golf, and he's done a lot of stuff with podcasts and things. And I just say, would you be interested in teaming up? So we did about I think we've had 5 or 6 episodes now, and we tape it on Tuesdays, and it's called On the Tee with the Terps.
Nice.
And and with the hawk and with Chick and the hawk. I'm the hawk, obviously, with the nose, and
Nice.
and then he's the chick. He's Chick, and it works out really fun. We've had we had an interview that went 90 minutes with Steve Sands.
That's great.
And it was awesome because he was talking. We were giving him crap because he makes everybody cry, at the end. And Justin Thomas, when he won the thing, and he got Justin because he lost his granddad and all that, and Justin's just bawling his eyes out. And I said, "So what's the deal with you making everything cry?" And that went into a 35-minute dissertation of, I don't make people cry on purpose. It's just
it's just how it works out. Everybody cries when they're around me.
Yeah, he was fantastic. And we had Gary Williams, the basketball coach, and we had Bernhard on. We had Larry Mize yesterday.
Oh, great.
And it's a lot of fun. It just kind of keeps me a little more current with the young guys. I go out and, I'm going to try to get Stuart Sink on. Didn't reach him. I reached out to him. I hadn't heard back from him yet, but just to stay updated with some things and then get guys outside of golf that do other things.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a look at it. I'm going to watch that Steve Sands one. I need a good cry right now.
Well, it's an audio. It's not a visual. It's just an audio.
I'll listen to it.
Yeah, you can listen to it. It's really, if you really have trouble sleeping or getting to sleep.
I need a good cry. I need to break down. That's always good to just flush it out. So I'm going to listen to Steve.
Steve's was really, really good. It gave a perspective and an insight of what he deals with in his world. Yeah. And the respect that he tries to gain with the players and the players that respect him. And, it really is a big fraternity, a big family, a brotherhood out there. And I think most of the players look at the media, we're a big traveling circus. We're all involved. And obviously the players are the key or that's the hub. But you got all these, you got the media, you got the TV, you have everything else that goes on with a golf tournament that are trying to showcase what we do on the golf course. And it's really cool to hear his insight. And that was a great interview. I thought it was one of the best I've ever heard.
Cool. I'll take it.
Side of the world.
It's say the name of it again one more time.
Terps on the tee.
Terps on the tee.
Yeah.
Chick and the hawk.
And with Chick and the hawk.
All right. We'll listen to it. Fred, thank you for joining us here,
Travis.
On the SportsPub pod. If I make it to Austin, I'll look you up and we'll go out and play, and I'll see if I can break 80.
Oh, well, I got my golf course out in Colorado.
Okay. Let's go play there then. What is that?
It's going to be high end public. It's going to be, ironically, the longest course in North America at 8,400 yards. But it's only going to play about 73 or 4.
Okay.
We got altitude. We have a lot of elevation changes. And we're going to have British Open style grass where it's just firm and fast. It's a high desert piece of land. It's going to be phenomenal. Cool. And you're more than welcome to. You'll be a life member, actually.
When's it open?
July 22. We're going to start grassing next month.
Really? Okay. So July 22. And the name of the course is
Rain Dance.
Rain Dance.
Yeah.
What town in Colorado?
Windsor.
Okay.
It's an hour north of Denver.
I'm in.
Perfect. That'd be
Is there a grand opening? We come out for that?
Yeah, it'll be July 12th to 22. That's the goal.
All right.
So, Rain Dance.
Love it. The chick gonna be there?
I don't know. Maybe if we're still doing the podcast.
Is Bernhard gonna be there? I want to plplay with him.
Yeah, but we're not going to go at 8,400. That's for the big boys if we ever get the big boys out.
I'm not playing from 8,400.
No, it's long, but it's absolutely fantastic piece of land. It's really neat.
Awesome. Well, congrats, Fred. I appreciate you jumping on, and we'll stay in touch. I already told Sharon hello. Tell Taylor hello for me.
I will, and tell all the boys back home.
I will.
Hello.
Yeah, I'll tell them out of Pablo.
All right.
Okay, Freddie. Thank you.
Right, see you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.